16 breakdown for Doom of Dimensions for Kong's first event of the new format. Make sure you guys smash the ever-loving crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out more content. This is actually very refreshing to see a top cut for the new format. Now, this gave everybody a chance to start playtesting their Doom of Dimensions, as most players actually like to get much further ahead of the game. Now, this top 16 had 4 yummy duelists in it, which is a lot more yummy than, or a lot less yummy, actually, I was kind of expecting. Marshmallow, like, fundamentally, like, kind of changes this, but also, you know, we have that new ban list that just rolled through, so maybe people just weren't as confident as wanting to play it. I'm not really sure too much which was causing the deviations in those numbers, but there was a very high number of Lunalight players. Players were very confident in Lunalights as a choice for this top cut. I'm honestly kind of intrigued by that number. We did have 2 pure canine variants, actually kind of showcasing some of the overall power that was kind of bringing to the table. I was very, very surprised to see that. And then we had 2 Memento. Honestly, Memento's kind of turned into the super evil challenger in the room, and that deck has been doing wonderfully. And surprisingly enough, we had 2 Malice players. You know, Malice was pretty much deemed dead out of the box, you know, especially with the loss of Splash Mage and all of that extra stuff. But it appears that this deck has actually kind of kept up on its momentum. We also had an Orcus Challenger. We also had a Ryuji Dinosaur, which was the real champion of this event. And we also got to see a Draco Tail Duelist doing very well. Now, later on, I will also have the rest of your top 32. You'll get the chance to see what was in the rogue categories as well. But for now, let's pass on over to top 16 deck list. So, this is going off of just top 16 in general, based off of Swiss rankings for you guys. So you do see that we are playing Orcust here. This is going to give you an absolutely broken opportunity to take advantage of the new canine stuff to make sure you can get pieces going, but also a lot of people just don't kind of respect Orcust right now. I will say it does trigger a lot of canine monsters, but the fact that this deck was able to function and do very well, also Clockwork Knight's looking very, very good as an option. Next up here, we had Pure Canine. Now, I love the fact this deck is playing Pot of Extravs in here to get you into that extra draw power to kind of offset things. But I also see that we are playing the special release experiment down here as well. Also, Sales Ban acting as a board breaker is an interesting choice. I do kind of appreciate the fact of having this, but also this just proves, you know, how good Nori is as a card. Woo, we have the unbridled power of 50 cards, actually. This deck was just a constant bombardment of Dirac Meteors trying to clear up the field and making sure that, you know, you could keep monsters off your opponent's field. The fact that this clears up spells and traps and everything in between makes this into a very problematic card that a lot of decks are going to have to kind of deal with. We've also got, this is the same list, honestly, as our predecessor here, kind of bringing it up on the rear. You do see, once again, you know, the inclusion of the draw power, maximizing on the cases and the chaotic elements to make sure that, you know, you can find these tools to keep on going. You also do see the side deck shifter down here. Also going with the double Nash Knight now, which, I mean, you're allowed to explore a little bit more. You also do get to see Durandal helping us out with cleanup on aisle 9. We've also got the Malice special. Now, Malice has pretty much had to go to playing the Hornet Drones route. You do not really get much of a concession for this. You need to be able to get those bodies on the field and establish, or else, you know, the game plan just kind of falls apart. I do see we are side decking the extra Baldrakes in here, or the extra Bestials in general, just to have them in case, you know, we need those extensions to keep on building that field. We've also got some Lunalight action. This build's kind of interesting. It's playing 2 heavy polys. I like heavy poly in the main deck. I feel like this card is absolutely incredible for what it does. Going with the 2-1, I see that we're actually side decking an extra copy of the Masquerade. That's actually not a bad call. It gives you another piece to kind of get in line. We're also side decking the Dominus Impulses. If you do need to see the Impulses, I mean, they are on call for you, which is not bad. We've also got, a Yummy list. Now we're going with 2 Yummy surprises here in the main deck. I feel like that's pretty normal. You start to see, where things start to change with these variants, Lollipop getting pushed down to 2, I feel like is fine. But this build's also only playing 2 copies of Cookie. I can understand why you're starting to move around with Cookie, especially, you got to facilitate the extra room to keep playing the Hornet drones and the Engage. And then the last list here on this sector is going to be the Malice, where you do see we are playing the backup here for the extension. You do see the Dimension Shifter on the rollback here. This card is absolutely amazing at clearing out games, especially having access to the Dominuses. And of course, still not playing the extra trap card, man. We just got to keep that consistency and keep things rolling, because that's what gets the job done. Also, hi Thrust. How are you? Triff's list. So we did have a drop out of Top Cut, which allowed Triff to, play in top 8, which was really, really cool to see. We were playing the Mitsurugi variant, giving you the ability to kind of like rotate through and do the board clears as you kind of needed. It's an interesting concept. It also proves, how much splashability that you can actually have access to in the Yummy deck. Like, this deck actually has a lot more options than I think you kind of realize. Ooh, we also have Memento, the board-breaking wizard here, honestly. The fact that, you can incorporate Super Poly still into this deck and, call up the same standard goons here to break apart boards is very, very good. This deck gets very terrifying very, very quickly at the things that you've kind of got to deal with. Still going with 1 Sheeple. I understand why. You don't want to bulk down too much on the bad cards. Still only 1 Lightning Storm, too, which is kind of hilarious. Next up here, we have more Yummy. Now, this build's actually packing in the Dominus Purges. I can understand why. I mean, you kind of make your concessions, right? Do you feel like you want the Purges? Do you not? Especially with Obedience Schooled Limited. You got to make those hits. Also playing the 1 Yummy surprise. Ooh, you like to see that. Phantasmes for the turbo siding. And of course, we have Dimensional Barrier down here. Kind of as like a little extra call-up option if need be. Ooh, we have more Memento. Now, this Memento is going with the Book of Eclipses as the board breaker. I don't really hate this idea either, because it just proves, how good that it can be. We are also playing the Baphomet in here. This is just another case of, something else to make off of the Memento fusion. And of course, hey look, Super Polys for board breakering, yay. We're also side decking the Goblin Biker Grand Entrance here as well. Interesting. Ooh, we have Dracotail. Actually playing the Fire Attacker and the Impulse. Excuse me. And also, we're going with Izuna's in here and Lupus. Okay. We're also making the concession in here and playing the new trap card for the Graveyard Control, which is kind of interesting. You also do see Gamma Seals and Lava Golems in here to distort anything that the opponent might be trying to do as well. Okay, well, that's a lot. Next up here, we have more Lunalite. I'm honestly more impressed with how good these lists are, but I mean, like, hey, look, Dark Roller no more, so you can just ignorantly win on the next turn, because that's the whole point, right? You make the big Towers boss monster, you clear the field, and you're good to go. Also do see we're doing Nemesis Corridor and Colossus things. Rolling up that giant floodgate and putting that pressure on your opponent just chokes them out of the game. There's really not a lot of recovery you're going to get. Also, hey, look, a free auto win button that we can just flip. And then we have more Yummy, the fact that there it is. There's the whole squad, cutting the Lollipop down to 2, going with the 2 Thrust in the main deck, 2 Yummy Surprise, main decking the Purges as well. I also see that we're playing the Lunalite Leo Dancer in here, so we can Ghost Reaper and Winter Cherries it away from the opponent. There really was just that much Lunalite that you had to be worried about. And this card is very, very ignorant, man. Like, it leads to so much degeneracy. And then we have more Lunalite. Holy crap. Main decking 1 Dark Roller no more, so we can thrust into it if we need to. We have the triple Masquerade in the main deck. It's interesting that the first list actually is messing around with the actual Masquerade ratios, because I feel like that's something you don't want to do. We're also side decking the additional Dark Roller no mores here. Just kind of lead up into that board breaker scenario, and having the blackout lapse for a thrust target. It's not too bad. Like I said, later today I'll have more of your top 32, but this is your top 16 wrap-up. So what do you guys think? Please leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think, and I'll see your beautiful faces back here in a day, guys. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.